Certain leaders leave an indelible mark on the people, products, and industry within which they serve. Their vision, leadership, and acumen is worth being recognized at the highest level. The International Corrugated Packaging Foundation's Circle of Distinguished Leaders program ensures that these individuals receive a permanent tribute for their contributions. ICPF is honored to posthumously induct Jeff Schwarz into this distinguished group. From a young age, Jeff embodied a sense of positivity and work ethic that he would carry throughout his life and career. In 1996, with a degree in economics from Indiana University and an MBA from Miami of Ohio, Jeff joined the Schwarz family business and began his career in corrugated packaging in Cincinnati, Ohio. In a few short years, Jeff would join his father Jack and his brother John in starting Schwarz Partners, a company that would grow to become one of the largest and most innovative organizations in the industry. Jeff's visionary approach to the business and passion for people would propel Schwarz Partners forward in creating lasting partnerships across the industry that exist to this day. As a father, husband, friend, brother, son, and leader, Jeff lived life to the fullest, balancing hard work with laughter, friendships, and a sense of adventure. His legacy and his memory will endure not only in the innovations he championed, but in the countless lives he touched along the way.
So I first met Jeff Schwarz waiting for a table in Las Vegas. So I was with a couple of associates and I met his mom first, and his mom, introduced herself. And I go, "Oh yeah, you're Jack's wife." And I know Jack. I've known Jack forever. And she was just pounding me as to why I'm not in a Schwarz sheet feeder. And then all of a sudden, this young guy shows up and he goes, "Hey, by the way, I'm Jeff Schwarz, and that's my mom. You just got hit by the hammer."
Our relationship was less of a working relationship than a friendship that happened to coincide with business. Started with a phone call, and somehow we started talking about partnerships. And he asked, whether we had participated in a lot of partnerships. And I said, well, we've had a few, but it hasn't really been a significant part of our world. And of course, with Jeff, there was this long pause. And then he said, well, John, partnerships have been pretty important to our family. And we both laughed because obviously with the Schwarz family, partnerships have been what they probably have done better than anyone else in the industry.
The Schwarz Group was interested in doing a sheet feeder in Mexico, and we were interested in doing a sheet feeder in Mexico. It seemed like a stretch, but for Jeff, there was never anything that was a stretch. He was just he always had a way of seeing things on a positive light, knowing it was going to work. And I know for a fact that our success at Dan Hill Containers and Dan Hill, New Mexico would not be what it is today without the Schwarz Group.
That sheet feeding concept changed the industry forever. That today is a model that everybody's trying to use, or at least the independents are using. And what it did was it changed the corrugated industry in a way that the independents could be more innovative, more competitive, and bring more quality and service to customers, the end users, the people that actually use the boxes. That concept and their ability to execute it, which is probably the more important part, and they figured that out.
Most important thing is what Jeff did as part of that equation, because Jeff managed the relationships with the independents. And it's not an easy thing, I can tell you from experience, to manage those relationships and to be successful in the ways that Jeff was and that Schwarz Partners is, to make a difference for the independent.
Just the respect and grace he had when he dealt with people was amazing. When we were negotiating with people or we were starting these new businesses, Jeff would say, after we have all these complex issues to deal with, and he would just look at people and say, well, what's the right thing to do? And those kind of comments and his ability to relate to people and the respect that he had for people just was really very well admired.
Well, I think if you looked up in the dictionary of what leadership is, and you looked at all the adjectives describing what leadership is, my guess would be that just about every one of those would apply to Jeff.
He was very authentic in the way he carried us. It wasn't the way that you would teach somebody in a business class. It was the way that Jeff Schwarz would do it, and the way that he was taught how to do it. And that was the Jeff Schwarz way.
I think Jeff always wanted to win for not only Jeff, but more so for his client. And then his client. It wasn't just about, let's go make Schwarz a whole bunch of money. It was about Jeff wanting his customers and the customers' customers to win.
Well, he loved people, so he was really engaging with people. He loved making deals and moving fast and growing Schwarz Partners. I mean, he didn't stop. You know, most people, they do a good deal and it's great and it's working. He was already working on the next 3.
I would say his special magic was listening. Jeff didn't have to be the center of attention, but he wanted to know what you thought. He wanted to really to hear other people and try and bring people together. And that's why he was so trusted, because you knew he cared about you. And I think that you bring your family values to the business. It's like it's who you represent as a legacy, and he was certainly part of the Schwarz family legacy.
I think family was everything to Jeff. You could hear it in his voice whenever you talked to him about his family. He had a deep sense of connection that translated into how he treated his whole work family. He built teams that felt more like a community, and he protected and cared for those around him with genuine loyalty.
I would say Jeff's legacy, and the thing that we will always remember about Jeff, is really his ability to play hard and work hard. He was never afraid to spend some extra time with people. He always wanted to make sure that the people that were surrounded him had a good time and really enjoyed their job. And he wanted to make sure that that they had as much fun as he did and enjoyed working for the company as much as he did.
I just think if you walked around the hallways here and asked people to give you a list of the 10 finest people they've worked with in the industry in their career, and you're going to find a lot of people here that are 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, his name would absolutely be brought up time and time again by so many people. Some of the younger people that got a chance to meet and be touched by him early on, even though they were very young, he treated them like industry veterans and people like myself that knew him for many years. So that says a lot about your character.
Everybody loved Jeff Schwarz. He conducted himself in just a very professional manner, one that exuded trust and respect, very sharp, driven. I think he is remembered by all that he's one of the really good guys that cared and you could trust, but you could admire the fact that they're growing an incredible company that's just wildly successful.
You didn't go into a business deal with him and his organization without recognizing he was more than a partner. He was a friend from the get-go.
He just had a way. He had a way of being present in every conversation, and a way of making whoever he was with feel special. And that's a gift that not many people have. And whatever small parts of that I was able to come away with, then for that I'm grateful. He was a special guy.